Hello, everyone. I am the inspector, and welcome back to another video. Today, I believe this one will be my. This is the 40th subscriber special. Of course, I've gone above that number by now, but you know. I've got to catch up on these subscriber specials, certainly. But in the meantime, I, I might as well do this one. So yes, so for this 40 subscriber special, I will be reviewing and ranking every ride at Disneyland. So I think sorry. Oh yeah. Hope you all are having a good day. If you enjoy my content, please do like, subscribe, and share. Um, and yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So here we have whiteboard. I'm sorry if I'm a bit slow today. Right. Just gotta pull up the website here. Okay. So we did visit both sections of the park, the Disneyland part and the, what else? Oh, and California Adventure. So I will be including both of those in this. Um, so, there's also downtown Disney, but that's kind of just like a downtown shopping district. It's not, I'm not going to include anything from there except for the monorail, which does connect up with that. But, yeah. So, our first ride slash attraction that is listed here is the Adventureland Treehouse. And I'm gonna have to give the Adventureland Treehouse, well, let's see. We did walk through it, and it is just a walkthrough. Detail wise, I think it's very impressive. It is built and structured like an actual tree house, and it does look the part, and it was fun. Wasn't necessarily fun to climb all those stairs after a long day of walking in Disneyland, but that's to no fault of the attraction. It's meant to be a tree house. But yeah, detail-wise, everything looked pretty impressive. You got little blurbs that gave you insight into each room in the treehouse, and uh, I'm sorry, I'm like totally wiped today. I don't know. I don't know why. Let's see. Yeah, but it was just a walkthrough. You know, you go up the treehouse and then you go down, and very, very impressively detailed. There were some fun little things to look at and read. You did get those blurbs that give you insight into each member of the family. Um, because I guess this was based off of the Swiss Family Robinson story. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, there wasn't much more to it than that. I think I'll give it a solid. Um, I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10. I think just for the detail and the impressiveness of the treehouse itself and of the all the stuff that went into making it. Solid 7 out of 10. Now the next one that's listed here is the Alice in Wonderland ride. And this is one of their many rides in Fantasyland that's based off of their classic films. These are some older rides from the 70s or whatever, and you can tell because there's really not a lot going on in this ride. It's kind of just like a recap of the Alice in Wonderland movie, as a lot of these rides are. There is a little part where you kind of go outside of the ride. The track goes outside and then goes down a slope, but it's not like a drop or anything. It's a very slow ride. There's no real excitement to be had. It's very janky, not very comfortable in terms of seating. And yeah, it is basically just a recap of Alice in Wonderland. Now the detail gone into all of the little set pieces that you go through is impressive. There's some fun effects with I think especially the Cheshire Cat disappearing and reappearing. That was cool. There's some fun stuff like that. There's some cool visuals, trippy stuff. If you're high at Disneyland, you'll probably like this ride quite a bit. I'm sure it's probably amazing on LSD, but just going on it regularly on our plane of existence, it's pretty mediocre. There's worse rides in Fantasyland, but I think I'm gonna have to give this one at least probably a 4 out of 10. No, I'll give it a 5. I'll give it a 5 just for the just on the technical side of things. But it is a very mid ride. There's really not a lot going on there, unless you're on some kind of substance, which I am not endorsing that people, go to Disneyland, go on the Alice in Wonderland ride high. But yeah. The next one that's listed on here is the Ancient Sanctum. And I have to be honest, I have no clue what this is. According to the website, it's it's at the California Adventure Park. And I guess it's just like a live stage or something, but if we might have passed by it, I don't know. I'm just gonna put a nut, I'm not gonna be able to rate that. Oh yeah, but as I was saying, I am not endorsing that people go to Disneyland high or on any kind of substance. I was not there on any kind of substance, and neither was the friend that I was with. So don't do that. But I'm sure that if you went on these rides on substances, like on the Alice in Wonderland ride, you would probably find it more impressive. But I'm sure that was not the creator's intentions. I'm sure Walt Disney or whoever designed the Alice in Wonderland ride or any of the rides in Fantasyland for that matter, I'm sure they weren't thinking, I really hope that everyone who goes on this ride is, high and, on another plane, because you shouldn't have to be in order to enjoy the ride. And that is my opinion. In fact, on that note, I actually I'll give this a 4.5 out of 10. I don't think it actually deserves a full 5 out of 10, based on that fact. And the next thing on here is the Animation Academy. I think this is at California Adventure. And again, I have no idea what this is. I think this is another thing that we passed by. So, not applicable. It's just another attraction. It's not a ride. And there is a character experience that is called Anna and Elsa's Welcome. And this is also not applicable. I have no idea. We did not see this live performance, but I will say that all the cast member performances there were pretty impressive. I was definitely, I think it probably takes a lot to be a cast member at the Disneyland park, especially with how warm it gets. It's got to take a lot. So, I'm sure, props to whoever plays Anna and Elsa at Disneyland. But we did not see that, so can't rate it. The next ride listed here is the Astro Orbiter. For a ride that's basically, it's just one of those, what it's called. Does it say? It's one of those spinning rides, The cart, the thing itself doesn't spin, but it does go around in a circle. But this one was actually a little bit scary, Of course, it's an older ride, but it was a little bit scary because of the way that the seating was. It was also a little bit awkward because you basically had to like sit on the other person uh, in order to seat both you and yourself. So that was a little bit awkward between me and my friend there, but it was, or you have to sit close to being on them. But yeah, this one was, it was a little bit lengthier than we expected for just being a spinning ride, and also a little bit scarier. Like, if we didn't have that belt strapping us in, we would have definitely fallen out of that thing, face first onto the ground and gone splat. So that was exciting. But there wasn't a lot going on other than that. The ride looked cool, but it was just a spinning ride. But because it did have that fear factor in there, I will have to give it a 6 out of 10 for being a little bit frightening. Yeah. Because that was pretty cool. Then the next ride here is Autopia. This was surprisingly more fun than I remembered from when I rode on it as a kid. I mean, when I rode on it as a kid, I thought it was really lame. But going on it again, pretending to, especially since I'm trying to learn how to drive at the moment, it was a little bit more personal, and my friend was basically being like this mean driving instructor, so it was kind of stressful. There was a little more, trying, because you're trying not to hit the people in front of you, but at the same time you're going over all this kind of these slopes and these hills and turns, and it's kind of it's a little bit scary. So that was kind of cool. That was kind of fun, and it's really loud and stinky too. So it feels like you're on the highway. This is a pretty good highway simulator. I will not deny that. But the most unexpected part of the experience was that, like halfway through the ride, the car that we were in actually broke down. We had to wait for somebody to come up to us and get it kick-started again. So that was a bit, that was a bit more real than I would have personally liked, but it did add that sense of realism. So I was, this one was much better than I expected in terms of being a kind of frightening highway simulator. Autopia, I'm going to have to give it an 8 out of 10, surprisingly. That ride had a little more to it than I had remembered. It was surprisingly more fun than I had expected. Although I'm sure that whatever they're, putting in those engines is probably polluting the air to high hell, but it's a good ride nonetheless. Or at least, if it isn't polluting the air, they're definitely it definitely smells like it. The Avengers headquarters. I think this is another live stage experience. A live event that we unfortunately did not see, so once again, that's not applicable. I guess there was California Adventure Park, there was the bakery tour. That is also not applicable because we did not see it. Or we did not go on it. So I guess that is a ride that we missed. There's a Believe in Holiday Magic. Fireworks Spectacular, which we might have seen from the distance. So I guess instead of reviewing whatever specific show this is, I'll just review the fireworks there. They were pretty dang impressive. I'm gonna have to say, the fireworks at Disneyland are probably a 10, or at least a strong 9. I'll give them a 9. I think they could have been, there could have been a little more going on with them, but from what we were able to see, both me and my friend were pretty impressed and in awe of the fireworks, so they do get a 9. I don't think we saw that specific. I don't think we saw that specific show, but we did see the fireworks. Now here's a one moment. The next thing they have listed is the Better Together live show. And that we did see. It was more of a parade than a show, but we actually saw, we were stopped, or we were sitting by the front gate and we saw it go through, the gate where it came out of, so that was fun. It was pretty cool. Again, you know, those cast member performers, you know, I just don't even, I don't know how they do it, but you know, it's gotta take a lot. So you know, props to them. But I don't know if it was as impressive as the parade in Disneyland that occurs at nighttime. This was a daytime parade. It might occur at night as well. I don't know, but it wasn't as impressive. And I think I'm gonna have to give it a solid. I'll say a 6 out of 10. Could have been better, but it was a fairly fun and creative parade on its own. With the, you know, you got to see your favorite Pixar characters, so that was fun. Or at least some of the Pixar characters. I don't think all of them were there, but a good amount were. And you know, you know, for a parade, it was fairly impressive. Not as impressive as their other one in the Disneyland park, but it was still cool nonetheless. Now the next thing listed here is the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad ride. And that, this ride is probably gonna have to get at least, probably gonna have to get a 10 out of 10 from me. I think this is like, in terms of like you know, could it be longer? Yes. But you know, none of the rides at Disneyland are trying to be too long, which is understandable, you know. But literally, I think the only gripe that I have with the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad ride is that it could be longer, but despite that fact, it's just as like a short, thrilling roller coaster. It's a lot of fun. It's just, you know, it basically does everything you want out of that kind of ride. And it is fun. The setting of the canyons and diving through them. You know, especially the parts where it goes into like the dark caves, and you know, there's a part where it goes into this dark TNT room, and then everything starts exploding. You know, that's pretty exciting and frightening. You know, this ride has just about, you know, the right. It's a balance. It's like a perfect balance of everything that you want out of a short thrill ride, basically. And there's even a bit of a jump scare in there with the goat. That was pretty scary. I didn't expect the goat to, you know, the goat animatronic to just be blaring in my face like that. Yeah, that gets a 10. And moving on, we have the Buena Vista Street holiday tree lighting. Buena Vista Street holiday tree lighting. That's a bit of a mouthful. And that gets another not applicable because we did not see it. Moving on, Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters. And I will say I might be a bit biased in my review of this one because the ride broke down like 5 times when we were on it. I'm not joking on that, by the way. I mean, it broke down like so much that it started to get quite annoying. Yeah, it's basically, you know, again, in terms of detail, it's definitely impressive, but there's just really not a lot going on this ride for me, if I'm gonna be fair. You know, you have you have your little gun and you have to shoot at these targets, but the whole like mechanism is kind of confusing, and it I don't know, it's like it's kind of a boring ride because that's all there really is to it. I mean, for kids, you know, the Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters ride might be a lot of fun, you know, especially for fans of Buzz Lightyear, you know. But as someone, you know, with a neutral stance towards it all, I just think that there just wasn't enough going on in this ride for me. You know, it broke down 5 times, and but yeah, even despite that, it was just like a, you know, little what is it called, this ride? yeah, it's like a slow shooter ride, but it's just not there's just not that much going on. So I'm gonna have to give this one at least probably a 3 out of 10. I'm not gonna give it a 2 because I think that there was enough. You could tell that enough detail and work had gone into it to make it, make it somewhat impressive, at least on that side of things. But otherwise, it was just pretty mediocre, pretty slow, pretty boring, not as exciting as you would want it to be. And the reason why I say that is because there's another ride in California, the California Adventure section of the park that is definitely a stronger version of that ride. And the next thing that is listed on here is the Celebrate Happy Cavalcade. The Celebrate Happy Cavalcade, which we once again did not see. I guess this was a parade. We might have, I don't know. Yeah, no, this isn't the nighttime light show one, so I think this is a parade that we actually just missed. And this gets a not applicable. Moving on, we have the Centennial Park. And I do believe we passed by this, because this is in Toontown. And yeah, I think in Toontown, Toontown overall, I think, was one of the more impressive sections of the park just by design. I mean, it really did feel like you were in, the Toon world of classic American cartoons and classic Disney cartoons. And yeah, so I think I will. I don't think we actually went into the park, but we did pass by it. So I think I'll give it a. I think because we didn't actually end up going into it, I am going to have to give it a not applicable. But I do think by design that section of the park was pretty cool. The next ride here is Chip and Dale's Gadget Coaster, and this gets a oh geez, I'm running out of room. I might have to make this video several parts, and then in the final part rank everything together, but at this point I'm going to have to give this a 9 out of 10. This is a very short roller coaster that you can find in the Toontown section of the park, and I enjoyed it. I don't think my friend really did, but I thought it was fun for what it was. as that's a short little roller coaster, but I do think it could have been slightly longer. I think that was my, my gripe, and there could have also been more going on with it. They're just, it could have been a longer ride, I think, for what it was. So I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 due to that fact. Because I think that even though this is a ride more so directed towards younger kids, I still think there could have been a little more going on with it. But it nevertheless was fun. Now the next thing on here is a Christmas fantasy parade. And that has to get from me a solid not applicable because we did not see it. And unfortunately, that looks like that's all the room on the board that I have for this part of the video, but I will try to get to the next couple of things on here. But since I'm gonna have to split this up between videos, I think I'll do a ranking at the end of each video, and then after the last one, I'll do a final video that'll rank everything together. So, yeah, in terms of everything here, I guess there's quite a few things, quite a few attractions or live events that we did miss here, unfortunately. You have Ancient Sanctum, Animation Academy, Anna and Elsa's Royal Welcome, Avengers Headquarters, the Bakery Tour, the Buena Vista Street Holiday Tree Lighting, the Celebrate Happy Cavalcade, the Centennial Park, and the Christmas Fantasy Parade. And yeah, we did miss all of that stuff. Although maybe I don't know if some of those are limited to a specific time of the year, like the Christmas one. But nevertheless, all of that stuff is not applicable. But coming in at lowest, here we have Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters with a 3 out of 10. Then we have the Alice in Wonderland ride with a 4.5 out of 10. The Adventureland Treehouse with a 7 out of 10. Oh no, before Adventureland Treehouse, but after Alice in Wonderland, we have the Astro Orbiter at a solid 6 out of 10, and the Adventureland Treehouse at a solid 7 out of 10. And then, oh my goodness, scratch that, before the Adventureland Treehouse, and actually I'll say before the Astro Orbiter, we have the Better Together Parade. I'm actually going to change the rating here to a 5.5 out of 10. So yeah, 5. So Better Together Parade, then the Astro Orbiter, and then the Adventureland Treehouse. Then moving on, we have the Autopia ride at a 8 out of 10. The fireworks at the park with a 9 out of 10. The Chippendales Gadget Coaster at a 9 out of 10. And then the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad ride at a 10 out of 10. So that's everything ranked. I'll give you all a closer look here before I end this part of the video. But yeah, you know, let me know what you thought of my thoughts on these attractions and rides at Disneyland. And yeah, like, subscribe, comment, share. Take care. This is the Inspector signing off for now. Peace.